I'm pretty notorious for having one of the dirtiest stashes that there is in Tarkov. But what I try to do, like, there are some times that I've just stopped playing because my stash is full and I do really well in a raid. Now I got all this gear that I got to figure out how I'm going to get it in there.
Yeah.
All my backpacks are filled. Every rig is filled. There's no way I'm going to do it. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm done with Tarkov for today because I just don't want to deal with it. But typically, what I'll try to do to save my viewers the headache of watching me do all this is I'll try to clean it like off stream. I'll listen to music or something,
Yeah.
and it's kind of therapeutic in its own weird way, cleaning the stash and making.
Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators who come on and share their stories, experiences, and advice. And I'm pumped. I have Hexloom on today. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very
I'm happy
much.
you're here, man. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Even more excited now that I see you're such a Star Wars nerd. Look at all those Legos back there, my
Dude,
man.
I'm old. I saw the original Star Wars at the drive-in back in '77. Oh, yes.
It's not completed. It's just
Yes.
in the box. This is now a Star Wars podcast, by
Yes,
the way,
we've turned
everybody.
into, yes.
It's not about me anymore.
Speaking of the
talk about
podcast,
Ahsoka.
so
Yeah,
we start things off with 3 random questions. Are you ready?
hit me.
All right. So, favorite home cooked meal?
Oh man, probably some good old like tamales. Some
Okay.
tamales. Get some menudo in there. Woo!
Nice.
I'm chilling.
All right.
Red chili. Woo!
So you like the spicy stuff?
I do. Yeah,
Nice.
I do.
All right. Best concert you've ever been to?
Oh man. Let's see. So I used to work at a DIY venue in Albuquerque, and I would say probably one of the craziest shows that I ever saw was a band called The Chariot. I don't know if you're familiar with them,
Nope.
but it was in a very small, compact area. They're very known for being very wild and crazy, very energetic type band.
Yeah.
And it was kind of rare anymore to see them in such like a small space,
Yeah.
especially a DIY space. So I think that might have been one of the funnest shows I've been to. That's the thing that comes to the top of my head,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, it's so cool when you see that, that act that usually plays the large venues playing in a small place and maybe not everybody knows about it. And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Because a lot of those bands go back to like their roots of just playing in like, very small to like small groups of people.
Yeah.
And that's where they miss a lot of times
Yeah.
too, to be honest. So
Yeah, so I'm from Canada originally, and we're near like New York, Massachusetts. So we would catch Canadian bands that like sell out arenas back home, and they play
Yeah.
small venues here. So we'd
Right.
see somebody who played like Sky Dome in a little bar, strip mall in Albany. And it's just, it's unheard of. And they're excited, and everybody around, you can tell they're all Canadians because they got this like deer in the headlight look. It's like, oh my God. So
yeah, the energy is just different
Yeah.
in those types of shows.
Absolutely. All right. Third question is last TV show or movie you saw?
Oh, I guess it would have to be. No. I started. I was gonna say Ahsoka, but it was probably Loki. I just started the new season of Loki. Loki. I'm not big on comic book movies. I
Yep.
never have been, to be honest. However, that Loki show, there's something about it that just hits different, and I absolutely love the first season, and I
Yep.
genuinely have nothing bad to say about the start of the second season either. I
Oh,
don't know
cool.
the lore of Loki
Yeah.
or anything, so I don't know if like, everyone's gonna be like, "Ah, that show sucks. The lore is terrible," like how I am with Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly, but I'm liking it.
All right. Well, that's
I'm
all that
liking
matters, man.
it.
All right. So let's jump into this. First of all, where does the name come from? Hexloom.
Yeah. I've never talked about this on stream. You're getting this scoop, and I have avoided this question like the plague. Like many questions I am asked. Hexloom was the product of me just literally trying to figure out a name, and also me reading an article that said having 2 O's in a name is like Google. That
Oh,
humans
okay.
kind of translate that to not necessarily, I wouldn't say success, but
Yeah.
it's like a a familiar name. So I went through a list of a whole different stuff before I got Hexloom. There was like Gloom, and there was like a bunch of other stuff that had two O's in it.
Yeah.
But eventually it went down to Hexloom. But it also was, can I get all of the handles for it?
Ah, yep.
Because that was something that was big for me, is like I wanted to have all the handles.
Yep.
Uh, you might not know this, but when I first started streaming, I didn't have the name Hexloom. My name was actually Assless Chaos, um, which was I got that name by a typo that I was sending my friend a text. I was Assless Chaps, obviously, but it was translated to Assless Chaos. We thought it was funny, like for a bit then, and that's when I like started streaming, and I just used that name.
Yeah.
Somehow made affiliate with it,
Oh,
and
shit.
I even have a TwitchCon badge with that name on
Oh
it.
my God.
And but the streams kind of started picking up a bit
Yeah.
more, and you gain that traction a little bit, and then you kind of start thinking, I should probably take this a bit more serious, if it's becoming something like this profitable. So
Yeah.
I did a name change, and that's basically what it is.
Excellent.
And I like the name. I thought it was great. It's like one of the few things I've named that I thought was cool. So.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. All right. So we got the scoop right there.
Not as exciting as probably people would want. That's probably why I avoid the question.
Oh. All right. So who was Hexloom before you discovered YouTube and creating content? What's your background? Where are you from?
Oh, well, I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the good old Southwest. Before I was doing YouTube videos and everything, I'm a '90s kid, so I grew up with like the camcorder,
Yeah.
and my dad had this camcorder, and I would play with that thing constantly. I would make like my own little mini movies, and I didn't have too many friends, and my sister and we have a big age gap, so it's not like we were hanging out at all.
Yeah.
So it was just me and my dog, and my dog would probably be a star in like a lot of these little home videos that I had and everything. And um, I would just be doing that, and that's kind of maybe the first taste of editing that I ever did as well. Was just 'cause you had to rewind the tape, and then you have to record it where like that part was. Editing sucked back then,
Oh, yeah.
guys. So, but I would do that, and then I gradually my first probably form of my creative brain was music,
Yeah.
actually. So I started playing guitar when I was a kid. Um, and I kind of stopped for a while, and I didn't get really back into it until maybe I was like 12 or so.
Mhm.
And that's when I was just like nonstop. That's all I thought about was like music and guitar.
Yeah.
And so that was the Hexloom before YouTube. I mean, it
Okay.
still is kind of the Hexloom now, but yeah.
And what kind of music, do you play today? What style or, genre would you say?
I don't know, man. I just wherever my mind goes. I
Yeah.
guess it would be more indie type music anymore. But I've been in various bands as well that
Yeah.
play different types of music, more hardcore music and stuff like that.
Like,
But I've been in the music scene for forever as well.
yeah,
So.
what kind of influences would you say, like, growing up where were you like thrash? Were you skate punks, heavy metal?
Definitely more like vibed more with like skate punk or screamo type music.
Yeah.
For sure. A lot of the bands that influenced me back then, I wouldn't say I listen to necessarily right now, but a lot of the bands that got me back into guitar were bands called like the Blood Brothers, Fear Before the March of Flames, bands like that. And then
Yeah.
it kind of gradually, you start discovering other music, and you take inspiration from
Yeah.
everything, man.
Ah,
So
very cool.
yeah.
All right. Now, how about from a video game standpoint? When did video games start, start for you?
Well, when I was a kid, I had a Nintendo 64. That was the first console that I ever had. Um, but I think my friends had like a old NES that I would play and stuff like that. So that might have been my first introduction to video games, was like playing on my friend's console. But my own personal one was the Jungle N64, the green see-through one. I wish I still had it, man, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh.
So I
And
think
now,
Paper Mario was probably like my top favorite game on that.
okay.
It probably still is, to be honest.
And now, when
Yeah.
did you, start jumping over into the PC side of gaming?
That wasn't until probably like 2016.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah, that probably wasn't until that realm and when I first got my first PC. So it's relatively actually kind of, I want to say recent, but it's
Yeah.
actually kind of been a while. In my head, I think it's recent, but
Now,
actually, I guess it's been a while.
did you grab the PC to go to do gaming, or was it more for, editing and creating content back then?
Both.
Yeah.
So I actually bought a PC because of the video game Rust.
Oh, okay.
So back in like 2016, I was huge into YouTube. So I would be watching Casey Neistat. I would watch somehow video games were just went into the algorithm, and I got fed Aqua FPS videos. I
Yeah.
got fed Zuckles, Sir Winter, Vertigo, Faceless, all these Rust content creators, and I was just eating them up
Yeah.
because this video game was so cool. It was like this sandbox thing, but you can literally create whatever you wanted with it, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And so I literally I was making my own vlogs at the time as well on like some old channel, but
Yeah.
I wanted to improve my own editing game, and so I bought a PC, and I spent I don't even know how many hours playing Rust, but that's kind of what it started becoming. I shifted uh, my creative brain
Mhm.
to was like creating video game videos or
Yeah.
just
Oh,
content or
okay.
whatever.
So
Yeah.
so the YouTube experience was definitely YouTube was first before Twitch came along and into that
Mhm.
realm of things?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Definitely.
And now what, do you have any editing training or classes or anything like that, or was really just everything self-taught?
Nope, everything was self-taught. I mean, I would mess around with, Windows Movie Maker,
Yeah.
on, like, an old laptop to do certain things, but you can only do so much with that.
Right.
And, it wasn't until I got into Premiere that I
Yeah.
really started, like I was like, "I can do so many things with this." But I would be inspired by a lot of people's editing as well, so
Yeah.
if I saw something, I was like, "How do they do that?" YouTube. Just
Exactly.
YouTube
Yeah.
YouTube has the answer. I don't need to take a full course on it.
Yeah.
Um I feel like if you already have a vision for something, you can do it yourself,
Yeah.
more than likely, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then if
Absolutely.
you continue to do it, it'll just be stuck in your brain. So,
Okay. And now when did you hit that, when did you sort of start streaming on Twitch? When was, what made you hit that go live button?
I feel like with a lot of streamers who start streaming, they probably were introduced to Doctor Disrespect. Um, and whatever you want to say about the guy, he is definitely inspired, I would say, a ton of people to
Yeah.
stream. And, definitely, I would consume when I first discovered him, I was consuming his content like crazy, his streams. He was just like literally just this entertainer. He has
Yep.
an insane production, and that's what you wanna see. So, I think that's what kind of inspired me to actually go live or stick my toes into, like, the streaming
Yeah.
world itself, honestly. So
Okay. And then when you did go live, did you, have a thing like he did, or did you, were you just like sort of, just you are who you are, and that's how you started streaming?
A little bit of both. I would definitely take inspiration from him. However, my one of my biggest editing inspirations or video or even honestly probably what shaped my comedic brain or thinking way of thinking was Tim and Eric. Awesome show, great job. And so, which they have a lot of green screen things.
Yeah.
And when I first started streaming, that's what I would do as well. It's
Okay.
like we had this live show, people could call in, and we had lots of various different scenes that we would do for that.
Okay.
And but also there would be days that I would just be gaming.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I was just doing whatever I wanted.
Nice.
That's what I was doing. I had no thoughts. I was just press and go live, and whatever comes of it comes of it.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
yeah.
oh shoot. As a content creator, as a streamer, what's, like, do you some days wake up it's like I don't feel like hitting that streaming button,
Oh, yeah,
or
dude. All the time, man. I'm in my 30s. Like, sometimes I just don't I don't want a camera on me. I don't
yeah.
want people looking at me. I don't wanna feel like I have to entertain people. I just
Right.
wanna sit in a room and stare at a wall and silence. That's what I wanna do some days, you know?
Yeah.
But, that kinda you really have to balance when you're in any form of content creation, your mental health with, you really kinda need to put that first and foremost, and I think that's something that I learned.
Mhm.
So, I think for me, mental health is probably the biggest hurdle,
Yeah.
to go back to your question,
All right.
to get over.
And now,
Or keep in mind, I guess you should say.
and
Should
now,
say.
sort of what's been the highlight or the peak moment from, going live? Was it, Twitch partner or a certain thing that happened, while streaming?
Twitch partner is a big one. That was something I always wanted to strive for and like achieve.
Yeah.
I genuinely though, I would have to say the best thing to come of it is I've met so many cool people through streaming.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people when I first started streaming, there's two people in particular uh, that I am still very close friends with, and wouldn't hesitate to take a bullet for them. To be
Yeah.
honest, there's those types of people. They're those types of people.
Yeah.
Sorry, this caffeine's kicking in now.
That's all right.
I
That's all good.
I feel like I'm just rambling. Um, but I would have to say the people that I've met has been really great, and I've
Yeah.
also met a lot of people that I have looked up to
Yeah.
over the years. I mean, Aqua is one of them. I never in my wildest dreams, but I think in 2016 when I'm watching this guy that I would be, one of a good friend with him.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
So
amazing. And now,
yeah.
speaking of Aqua, how did you guys, end up, connecting and meeting?
So going back to Rust, I was making Rust videos, and some of the bigger Rust content creators kind of took notice of a few of my videos and stuff. And I was invited to the H June content creator server that he was doing at the time, and I went on to that. But Aqua and like Z Chum and Pestily and I forget who else. Kings, they were all in a group together.
Yeah.
And somehow it just happened to perchance that both of our groups made this like our paths happened to cross on this server somehow.
Yeah.
And uh did the whole thing, and then I was like, well, I want to make a really good video about it. And so I started doing cinematics and things for it, and I was like, well, I kind of want to hit up Aqua to see if he would voice like his own part in it because I'm making this whole story. So I
Yeah.
messaged him, and he said yes. He's always game for anything. Literally sent me the stuff that I needed right away. And I think that was like my first interaction with him,
Yeah.
like in a
Oh,
live
very
setting.
cool.
And he doesn't know this, but I was fanboying the whole time. By the way, the whole time this was happening, I was like, "Oh my god, Aqua FPS, it's gonna be in my video."
Oh,
Uh, but that was a really cool video.
nice. And now, if somebody's coming into your stream for the first time, what are they in for? What kind of experience is a Hexloom, stream?
Anymore, it's definitely gonna be Tarkov.
Yeah.
I definitely made a switch over to Tarkov from Rust, but I think more of anything is very cliche, but I would have to say good vibes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people especially for Tarkov is kind of like a more serious type streams, or W keying all the time,
Yeah.
baby. Uh, but I think for me, it's kind of more of just I want to focus more on how can we have fun.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
I don't care about gun schematics or anything. Like, let's just have some fun. What's a goofy way to play this game
Yeah.
and just hang out.
Okay.
So I always viewed streaming as kind of my social interaction.
Yeah.
My like I'm first and foremost, I am hanging out with you guys. So above all else, playing
Yeah.
some video game. So
And that's a great, way to approach it. You have your YouTube as that's your core, and your sort
yeah.
of your stream is where you sort of just hang out with your community essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
Love
the
it.
nice thing about YouTube is it works when you're not live. You don't have to be on. You don't,
Yeah, and there, if you miss a stream, you're gonna see it as a YouTube video anyway, edited down. So
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
some people like that more.
And now, to take this full time, make it a career, was there a certain moment that happened that you can say, yeah, this is the moment that let me do this? Or was it just gradual increase of videos and just collaborating with people?
I kind of was an interesting exception, I guess. So Kings actually had going back to Kings. Kings had been in my streams back when I used to do it was like a live show, like viewer call-ins, and
Yeah.
people would call in and stuff. He used to watch me on that. I didn't know who Kings was,
Yeah.
as far as like him managing Creators Club or Aqua or anything. He was just a viewer. And eventually Kings I can't really remember how it happened, but eventually Kings had seen my editing, and he also saw that video that I did with Aqua and his Spoon Kids in it, and a bunch of other cool Rust content creators. He saw that video, and he kind of tossed around the idea of me coming to edit for Creators Club, specifically Aqua.
Yep.
And um, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I would love to do that. And at the time, I had been working for the government, and I was trying to transition out of that. And this was like a perfect opportunity for me to do that.
Yep.
And so when he told me, okay, this is what we're gonna do, you come on to edit, but you still make like your own stuff. And then eventually it'll transition into you can do everything on your own and you don't have to edit uh for Aqua anymore
Yeah.
because you'll be self-sustaining finally. So
Oh,
and that's
okay.
basically what happened.
Yep.
So yeah.
And
So
now
I think
up
I've been on my own for like a year now or so.
Oh, wow. And now
Yeah.
up until that point, have you done any editing for other people, or really it's just up to, for you at that point?
No, it was just me. I did like a couple of music videos, just like creative stuff that me and my friends would do,
Yeah.
things like that, but nothing to the point where it was like a company reached out to me and was like, "Would I'm editing for
Yeah.
them or something." No.
Okay. And
No,
now,
it's just
today
myself.
when it comes to creating your videos and what is your sort of like, from concept to like and subscribe, do you approach it like, let's get some game footage, or do you have a story in your mind and then go from there?
Both. I think it was easier to do the story type aspects with Rust, mainly because they do have a cinematic debug type camera that
Yeah.
you can create you could create your own movies in that thing if you wanted. It was great. And with Tarkov, you kind of can't really do that as much.
Yeah.
Um, so you kind of have to just think of different ideas of playing the game sometimes. And obviously, not every video is going to be like that, but
Right.
at least for me. But if you have like a solid idea of playing the game differently or just thinking outside the box, or you can, that's pretty much where I try to do anymore.
Yeah.
At least for Tarkov. Right now, most of my content's just Tarkov related. So
Now, having that sort of offline group mode, when they came out with that last year, did that help with any of, your creating, content for, your Tarkov videos and whatnot? Or did you use that much?
not really because it's not what I want. Like
Yeah.
what I want is like I want to be able to have depth of field. I want to be like create cinematic stuff.
Move that
You still
camera
can't.
around free. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, and
Yeah.
you just can't do that, at least for not that I know of. Does
Yes.
anybody know? Anybody know? So,
And now do today, like, if you're watching a movie or TV show, are you watching it and you're like, watching it differently, looking for different ways to take, that you can incorporate into your videos?
uh oh, like movies and stuff? Is
Yeah,
that what
like when
you
you're
mean?
watching movies, like, oh, that's a cool shot, how they did that, or this transition, things, of that nature.
Yes, yes. I was very big on movies growing up as well,
Yeah.
which probably goes to me using that camcorder all the time too, trying to make my own, but I've always loved movies, but it's then I wanna know who directed this movie, who did the cinematography to this, who
Yeah.
edited this movie, and so I would definitely say a lot of the movies that I've watched has had a huge impact on my own style of editing, um, yeah, for sure, or even just the types of videos that I've done in the
Yeah.
past.
Now, is there
Yeah.
any certain movie or genre of movie that sticks out? Like, yeah, just great cinematography, how they do this, the way they shoot things.
I mean, a really well edited movie is the movie Whiplash.
Yep.
I don't know if you've seen that, yeah, but that's a really well edited movie. I think for me, stuff that like inspires me to want to make things are typically dark comedies.
Yep.
There's a Japanese movie called Why Don't You Play in Hell? And it's just basically a movie about these kids who always wanted to make movies, and then eventually it like skips forward 10 years and they haven't done anything. Like it's just and it's like they're all older now and they don't know what to do. They're like failing creators. And then it so happens that this Yakuza gang wants to make a movie of them fighting this other gang.
Oh,
And
okay.
so they have these guys record it for it, and they're all hyped because they finally get this is their big break, and it's stuff like that, like dark
Yeah.
comedy stuff like that. I really like.
Oh,
So,
cool. When we talked a little bit earlier about the Twitch part, becoming Twitch partner, what was your partner story? How many times have you applied? Do you remember where you were when you got the
uh,
notification?
I probably applied. trying to think, when did I get it? I want to say I got it on my third application. I want to say it was either, yeah, probably third.
Yeah.
Um, I was just randomly laying in bed. I woke up and I was just, going through my emails,
Yeah.
see what I got, and I had this. It was actually in like a spam folder, and for some reason, and it was like, "Hey, you've been accepted to the partner program." I was ecstatic, man, but I also didn't believe that it was. It's one of those things that you want for like so long, and then you finally get it, and you still don't believe that it has
Yeah.
happened yet. So, um, but yeah, I went on my desktop PC, and sure enough, I had the check mark. So
Nice.
that was a really cool thing.
Very cool. All right. And now we talked a little bit about Kings. Some people may not even know who Kings is or what
Yeah.
Creative Club is. Who's Kings?
Kings is the brainiac behind Creators Club. Creators Club is a collective of people basically that he manages. It includes myself, Aqua, FPS, Zchum, Omid, Trey. There's a whole bunch of creators on that list, to be
Yeah.
honest. Wellen used to be part of it as well. Uh, And he's just honestly just a dude that really just tries to help us out. He's
Yeah.
just a really good guy. He takes a chance with certain creators. Stradecki's another one.
Yeah.
It takes a chance with certain creators just to see that he likes. I feel like that's what it is more
Yeah.
for him. He likes this person. He wants to give him a shot and see where it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the guy that keeps us all in line,
Oh, cool.
basically.
So now, do you still edit for for Creators Club and edit for the other people, or really just your own work nowadays?
Anymore, I edit for myself. However, I've told Aqua in the past that if he ever does food review videos, that I will do them for
Yeah.
him. And so the last video that I edited for him that was game related was back, maybe last TwitchCon. So it's been literally a year.
Yeah.
And which was his last food review, actually, now that I think about it. So I haven't done anything video game related for him for quite some time.
Okay.
I recently did a food review for him, but I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So anymore, it's just for me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And now, anybody who's thinking about making YouTube videos and whatnot, jumping into that space, any advice for them, like how they should approach it, what tools they should use?
Uh Sorry, I'm trying to think. It's just so hard, to like make it anymore. I feel like you're so
Yeah.
up to the will of whatever algorithm is going on that week.
Yeah.
But if you are definitely passionate about it, I would say find a video editing software that you actually enjoy and stick with it.
Yeah.
And learn with it. DaVinci has a free version if you were just trying to dip your toes into video editing. I highly suggest that. They edit movies on that, so it's not like some kind of cheap software.
Right.
Uh, first and foremost, I feel like you need to figure out your own type of editing style,
Hmm.
whereas don't try to just be copy paste. Just try to figure out what your own kind of, humor or whatever type of content you're trying to create is, and go with it.
Yeah.
And people who like that will come eventually.
All right.
So.
And now, when it comes to editing, do you do much on the sort of long form or I mean, like the vertical content, like TikToks and shorts? Is that a space that everybody needs to be in to succeed nowadays?
Sadly, yes. I cannot stand TikTok. I
Yeah.
cannot stand shorts. I hate it. I'm never even on TikTok anymore. It is I think me personally, I think it just makes you stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You will just start going on that, and next thing you know, it's been 2 hours, and
Yep.
I've wasted half my day. And I also have learned nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen a new poop video. Like, it's like, okay, cool. I spent my time wisely. But sadly, you kind of need to you kind of need to put your eggs in multiple
Yeah.
baskets. You can't keep them all in one basket. So honestly, YouTube Shorts have helped me a lot gain traction to the channel. So you kind of have to do it.
Yeah.
That-
I'm right there with you on TikTok. I have a younger daughter, and she's just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we saw this on TikTok. We can make this. Like, oh God, yes. Yep, just
Are
swiping.
we old?
Oh, we're
Are
old,
we
yes.
old?
We're old and
Oh
crusty,
no!
yes.
God damn it!
Oh, all
Those
right.
damn TikTokers taking
All
over this
right, so
platform.
Tarkov, what was your path to, escape from Tarkov?
Uh, I so Tarkov was kind of a game. I knew about it when I was playing Rust. I mained Rust, and I kind of had seen other people playing it, so I bought it. You know, the basic package, whatever. And I would play it whenever I wasn't streaming Rust. So it would be the game that I would go to ironically cool off with, or just have fun with,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny to think about now. But uh, because I wanted to learn how to play, and it was just so overwhelming.
Hmm.
That game has such a huge learning
Oh
curve.
God, yes.
But I wanted that because I felt like I had learned everything I could at that point with Rust. So I was trying to figure out a different game to enjoy.
Yeah.
So, uh, but it wasn't until I actually started getting into it until I started editing for Aqua. Um, because I would edit so much Tarkov content, and in the beginning, I didn't even know what anything was. I was
Yeah.
like, "Is this toilet paper important? Like, do I need to focus on this stuff?" Like, I have no idea. And so, honestly, I would learn maps a lot of the times through editing,
Oh, okay.
just content. I would learn a lot of the stuff actually just through editing. Um, Most importantly, I would learn how to lose a lot of rubles in the game
Yep.
through editing Aqua. So, so uh, no, I would learn a lot just by doing that. And
Yep.
I just started consuming all this Tarkov content, all these new creators that I'd never heard of before, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, a new way to play with new ideas. So
Ah.
yeah.
And did you enjoy playing the game?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have kept playing it. It's if I don't like a game, I won't play it
Yeah.
like at all. It's just, in my opinion, it's a waste of time. So, uh, yeah, I liked it.
Now, what was the hook Tarkov had on you that kept you playing it, and up until today too? So
I really had never played like looter extraction shooters before.
yeah.
I feel like probably a lot of people's introduction to that will be Tarkov, but I, it was just there was so many things that you could do, so many ways to create like a gun, just different parts, and like
Yeah.
it was just the overwhelmingness of it. I wanted to learn like how to get better. You
Yeah.
know, I wanted to be better at the game. I started when right before they got rid of uh right before they started inertia.
Okay.
So I was zipping through fucking maps like crazy, you know, playing the game like Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
so uh, and it was fun. And but every wipe comes something that they either change, and you
Hmm.
gotta it's some new hurdle you gotta get over. So it's just more content.
And did you enjoy? Do you enjoy playing a solo or with with a group of people?
I generally am a solo guy. You start getting like 3 people in the game. That's too many people for me to keep track of, to be
Yes.
honest. In a game like that, I got to keep track of you guys, and also these sounds that are coming from everywhere, and God knows what floor it's on. I don't, who knows.
And he's 200
I
meters out, and we can
it's
still
not even
hear
on
him.
the same map. I'm hearing some other map.
Yes.
It's too many people. So
Uh,
I try to keep it. If I'm playing with others, I try to keep it like 3 or below.
yeah.
But duos are ideal if I'm playing with someone. Try to
Y-
play with someone else.
Yeah, because it's a weird game to play with others because everybody has different call outs if you haven't played with them
Yeah,
before.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
that too.
And then the comms is like, some people are chatty, some people are just awful with, it's just like, yeah, it is a unique game to play with others.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I typically just do it solo. That way I can spend a lot of more time on chat as
yeah.
well.
And now, the other aspect of Tarkov that's different than the other games is you have a stash to manage. So as a streamer,
Mm.
people don't want to watch you, and most people probably don't want to see somebody spend an hour in your stash. What's your, do you have the clean stash ready to go, or is it just like throw shit in and away, go from there?
I'm pretty notorious for having one of the dirtiest stashes that there is in Tarkov. So, but what I try to do, like, there are some times that I've just stopped playing because my stash is full, and I do really well in a raid. Now I got all this gear that I got to figure out how I'm gonna get it in there.
Yeah.
All my backpacks are filled. Every rig is filled. There's no way I'm gonna do it, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm done with Tarkov for today because I just don't want to deal with it. But typically, what I'll try to do to save my viewers the headache of watching me do all this is I'll try to clean it like off stream. I'll listen to music or something,
Yeah.
and it's kind of therapeutic in its own weird way, cleaning the stash and making some of that rubles.
Yeah.
So
And then speaking of music, I caught a stream the other day. You were, doing some guitar stuff, putting
yeah.
together a song or something like that. Have you done a lot of streams like that, or is this sort of, something new you're trying?
I've done one before as far as a guitar stream. It was kind of a pain in the ass figuring out how to route it uh, for audio,
Yeah.
but I figured out a way finally to I can stream my MacBook because I use Logic anymore, so I can stream my MacBook to it.
Yeah.
So I might do some more um, guitar streams. Usually they're just kind of like hey, let's do one.
Yeah.
Why not? Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
It's just like whatever mood I'm in kind
Yeah.
of thing. Because typically with music, I that's kind of like a me thing
Yeah.
usually. It's like I can zone out and I can just
You don't have to re-chat and just
yeah,
disengage.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And now, when has been on the pod, he talked about a subathon that they, a whole bunch of people got together at his house, or I don't know if it was his house or they rented a house. Were you part
Mhm.
of that crew?
Yeah, I've been in every single one.
And he
Thanks
said
for watching.
they're interesting.
Just kidding. Yes, the first they are interesting. Let me tell you, when you get a group of creators kind of like us, who are probably borderline crazy, it makes for some interesting content. More so, probably Dekie than anyone else, but that guy's a madman.
He
But
is.
he's a character, dude. I love him to death. He's like on day like 50 or something of his own
Yeah.
subathon right now.
Sleeping in a cardboard box or,
Yeah,
in his
he's
spaceship.
nuts. But I
Uh,
have had nothing but fun doing them. We're actually going to be doing one next week. So while everyone's at TwitchCon, we will be back in the basement doing
oh,
our
dear
own
Lord.
subathon. It'll be myself. I think Zchum's coming for a couple of days. Stradecki, if he leaves his pod, I actually don't know what the hell's going on with it. He still has like 100 hours on that clock. And Lettuce Sucks will also be there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it should be some fun shenanigans.
Yeah, Decky, went to backpacking, hiking with Pesley. It was like,
Mhm.
holy crap, dude, that's just crazy.
He was the perfect person for that, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was talking, I think I don't know if I was talking to Pest or Michael. It's like you take all these people, most of them have never met each other before. You
Right.
don't know what limits you could joke with somebody. It's like,
Yeah, exactly.
it's just like, oh man, you're just rolling the dice.
Or if you're just gonna get along with someone in
Right.
general. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be jokes. Just like, can I be near this person for an extended amount of time?
Yep, exactly.
So
So you're not going to doing TwitchCon in Vegas next year. What have you been to? Were you at the TwitchCon in San Diego?
yes.
How
So
was
I've
that?
been to. It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to 2 Twitch cons. One is affiliate. One is a partner. I'm
Yeah.
getting the years confused because then like COVID. After
Right.
COVID, I was like, I don't know any sense of time. Uh, so yeah, the last TwitchCon was a lot of fun. We just did a subathon that was geared towards the video game Marauders,
Mm-hmm.
and we did that. And then right from that subathon, we actually flew out to TwitchCon. So we all stayed together, anyways.
Yeah.
And we did the Team 17 booth out there. We each streamed
cool.
like an hour or two each. I forget.
Yeah.
On their thing, but more so than anything, it was just cool meeting a lot of people I haven't met
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, because that was a
Tarkov creators.
TwitchCon that ended, after COVID. So like everybody who's sort of been, streaming for the last few years, now everybody got together and met each other for the first time, probably.
Yeah. I forgot that was the first one back. Yeah, I forgot about that. That was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and and probably for you, it was a TwitchCon where you're sort of like both sides, like you see peers, and then at the same time you turn around and there's people from your community. It's like, hey, Hexloom, that's a unique experience that a lot of people don't get to experience. What was your take on that?
I mean, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was awesome meeting people who knew what my stuff was.
Yeah.
Seeing that in person is really cool. It just makes me feel good,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nice.
People like what I'm making. It makes you feel good.
It sort of motivates you and keeps you going.
Yeah, makes you want to keep going for sure.
Yeah. Excellent. And now, When you're not editing and you're not creating content streaming, what do you do, away from the computer?
Music mainly.
Yeah.
Do that. Honestly, to be honest with you, I am home so much that if I am not here, I try to just get outside in
Yeah.
whatever kind of capacity that is.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially with the creator of my size, I kind of have to like always do something
Yeah.
like constantly, whether it's creating. So if I'm not streaming, can guarantee you I'm still working in some capacity, so doing something behind the scenes. So whether it's editing or anything. So I feel like I don't get out as much
Yeah.
anymore as I should, but if it's at my day off, I'm outside for
Yeah.
sure. So
Because that's the one I think misconception people have with people who are streaming or a YouTuber. You just play video games, and there's so much more to that.
yeah. Yeah, there is. It can be definitely very draining,
Yeah.
type thing, but, especially, like, smaller content creators, it is nonstop if you're trying to make it in any
Yeah.
sort of capacity, mainly because there is so much content out there now,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot harder
Yeah.
for people to really make it, so,
And then you got
whatever capacity that is.
you have people are just sort of not being themselves and whatnot, and they're trying different things, different sticks, and just sort of what I've noticed over the last year or year and a half of sort of being around a lot of it is like it is tough. The mental side of it, you have people who don't want to be off stream because they're afraid they're missing something. They're I'm going to lose viewers if I'm not on stream. So I think from a streaming standpoint, it's a lot tougher than from the YouTube side of things.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree with that
Yeah.
for sure. If you are trying to get into the any kind of creative thing and wanting to make it your main thing, I would definitely suggest always keep your mental health in check
Yeah.
for sure. Always put that first above anything else. Whatever, like even this last Tarkov wipe happened, and I had been streaming for a while, and my brain was just like, "You need to go outside, dude."
Yeah.
So I didn't even stream the first day of Tarkov wipe. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna. It's
Yeah.
gonna be the same shit anyway. So I'm just gonna put it on the bench. I'm gonna go outside, enjoy my day,
Yeah.
do whatever, and then come back to it. And I think that was probably a really good decision.
Yeah.
And I cannot say that enough to people who do anything in the content creation world. So.
Yeah, 100%. Because if people are streaming, 10 hours a day, that's 10 hours of you're not really having that human to human contact. You're reading chat, but you're not having conversations back and forth and just away from streaming.
Yeah, essentially, I'm a guy in a room talking to a screen.
Yeah, exactly.
They are people, but I mean that's basically yeah.
Exactly. Cool. So, so for upcoming things, you guys got that subathon coming soon, and
Mhm.
anything else you're looking forward to, for the rest of the year?
Uh, trying to think if I have anything like crazy coming up. Honestly, just continuing to create things.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of fun with it lately. So whenever and I think what it kind of goes to is it's the changing of the seasons.
Yeah.
Like during summer, I am like comatose. I just like I don't want to do anything. My energy is gone. So, but like when it starts getting cooler and colder, I'm like that's when my creative side starts coming up.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I want to do all this stuff now. Like this is great. So I think weather has a lot to do with it. But I'm excited for some new Tarkov videos and ideas that we have or I have coming up.
Yeah.
And that subathon should be a really fun one as well. This one that's going to be next week.
Yeah.
And that'll be on Aqua's channel.
Cool. And are you playing any other games off stream or, dipping, playing other games to create, see what kind of content you can create out of that, or really Tarkov's your focus?
Tarkov is the main focus, but we played Starfield on stream for a little bit, and I mean a little bit of like Counter Strike we've been playing.
Yeah.
I've been trying to keep my eyes on any kind of games coming out. There's a game called Lords of the Fallen coming
Mhm.
out this Friday, I believe, 13th, I guess I should say. And
Yeah.
I've been checking that game out for so long, and I'm pretty excited about it. It looks like a Dark Souls type game. I mean, it was an old game way back when, but
Yeah.
it looks great, and I hope it lives up to its expectations because I want to dive into it.
Yeah.
So I get excited on anything that's not Tarkov related that sometimes. So
Now, did
I don't know.
you hey, you haven't been sucked into the dark and darker.
No, I refuse to play that game. Just because everyone tells me to play it, and I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna play it. Just because you guys keep telling me to download it, especially when it was like you got to download it through a torrent now, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like what? And like,
Yeah.
there's all these legal things going
Oh
on.
yeah.
It's like I don't want to give any of these people my information right now.
Right.
I
Exactly.
wish the best for it. I'm sure it's an awesome game. But I know also too is as soon as I start playing it, I'm gonna like it a lot, and I'm gonna be sucked into that too, and I'm just gonna be this nonstop cycle.
Yeah, when I heard it was being
Ugh.
distributed via torrents, like, what is this, late 90s? Come on, I don't know. I don't
I
trust
go
it.
on Pirate Bay to download this. What
Exactly,
the
yeah.
hell's going on? But I wish
Uh,
them nothing but success. They seem to be they have a huge
they
following, and I
do,
think that's
yeah.
great. I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Hexlin. Well, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you, taking the time to come on and share your story. But before I go, I got to ask you to shout out somebody you think, may have a good story in your circle.
Um, I'll give you two
All
people.
right.
One is I don't think you've had Decky on.
No, I haven't had Decky on.
Decky's full of great stories.
Yeah.
Another person that I think would be great would be Lettuce.
All right.
Lettuce sucks.
Sounds good, man. Well, let them know I'm
Here's
going to be
another
coming.
one too.
Okay.
I feel bad. I'm like leaving people out. Like, oh
I'll
god.
take them, man. You got.
One of Creators Club's current editors, his name's the Umpire.
Okay.
He is an awesome dude, and I feel like personally his content is very underappreciated.
All right.
And on like his own content.
Yeah.
He's a great editor, I think. I've done videos with him way in the past. We've
Yeah.
done some Rust stuff, but he's a great guy.
Oh,
Hark.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. Let them know I'm going to be, reaching out to them. But one thing I wanted to ask you about was your Payday experience
Oh
with
yeah.
Aqua. You guys went down to this special event. What was that
Yeah.
like?
That was awesome, man. I've never done anything like that before. Being able to be just in New York hanging out with Aqua too was great.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was so well organized. I have nothing but praises to say about Payday. Not because they paid me, but just because not because of that, but like genuinely I've had a lot of fun playing that game.
Yeah.
And just the way that they handled that whole situation was really cool.
Because the
Yeah,
premise is you walk into a bank and then all of a sudden it's
it's an
getting
actual
held
bank.
up.
Yeah, it was an actual bank. It used to be, I guess. I guess now it's an event space, but yeah, and then it got held up by all these characters and everything, and you just felt like you were actually a part of this situation. And
Yeah.
it was a cool way to introduce everything that we were going to be doing for that day.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And there's
Yeah.
a whole bunch of other content creators with you for that weekend, right? I think Moy Dog was
Yeah.
there and a
I
whole
met
bunch.
Nice Guy. I didn't even know he was gonna be there, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Nolan." And I'm just like, "Holy!" I was like, "What?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And there's some other creators there too.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank, but a lot of them I actually had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just
It was a good weekend though.
it was a very good weekend. It was a very short trip, but
Yeah.
definitely very memorable, and I
Awesome.
had a lot of fun. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, Hexlin. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate
thank
you
you.
taking the time and, good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, man. Thank you so much.